Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Many a True Nerd, and welcome back to Fallout's Tale of Two Wastelands, where last time we went vault diving in the last couple of vaults in Fallout 3 we had not visited before, 106 and 87, with a bit of help from our lovely assistant Fawkes over there, and today, well, I'm gonna be honest, we don't actually get a choice, because, yes, when you try and leave Vault 87, there's only one place you're allowed to go. So, sadly, we're leaving behind Fawkes, but don't you worry, I'm sure we'll be seeing him again in no time whatsoever. And yes, indeed, just before you get back to the vault proper, unfortunately, this happens.
Objective is secured, sir.
Good work, soldier. Make sure the Gek is secured aboard my vertibird.
Yes, sir. I'll have the techs come down and remove it immediately, sir.
You're certain she's unharmed?
Yes, sir. She'll pass out shortly, but we can revive her.
Excellent. Prepare her for transport immediately.
Right away, sir.
And there we go. Unfortunately, yes, the Enclave managed to make it through the front door because that's where that door leads, though precisely how they did that is a question no one ever answers.
So, you're awake. Let's keep this nice and simple. You're going to tell me the code for that purifier, and you're going to tell me now.
And here we go. I've woken up and I'm immediately being interrogated. So, okay, Autumn, just give me a moment to wake up, maybe get me a cup of coffee, then we can talk.
I'll tell you what's going on here. You lost. The good guys won this one, and now we're just wrapping up loose ends. We've got the purifier, now we just need the code to start it. You're going to give me that code now, and save us all a lot of trouble. Maybe I'll even let you go. So how about it?
Now, if you've been paying attention to the plot, you may be wondering, yes, why it is that Autumn needs the code so urgently, given the last time we saw the Purify, when they moved in to secure it, it wasn't operational yet. We'd only just moved in, we were still very much testing the darn thing, it wasn't ready to go. Well, there is an answer to that, and we'll be getting to it in just a moment. Also, I'm really rather fond of this exchange right here where, yes, you've got an option between pretending you don't know what the code is or giving him one of two codes, because, yes, the very first time I got to this part of the game, this was, before Many a True Nerd existed and whatnot, I couldn't remember what the code actually was, because, to be honest, it's only said out loud in the game maybe twice, so I simply could not remember what the code was. I didn't know which one was the correct answer. But yes, it actually is 216, though I do not blame you if you just straight up forgot that, because I did. And hilariously, giving him the correct code is just a non-conventional game over.
Your code is 216. Repeat. 216. Confirm and enter.
Copy 216. Stand by, sir. Entering code now. Confirm. That's the correct code. Systems coming online now, sir. I'll have a full report shortly.
Thank you for cooperating. I'm afraid we no longer have need of your services.
And there we go, he literally just shoots you and he's got a magic one-hit kill gun. So, not sure why he shot me in the leg, but he did. You just get shot, that's the end of the game. On the other hand, yes, giving him the incorrect code, oh, that's just hilarious.
Your code is 704. Repeat, 704. Confirm and enter.
Copy 704. Stand by, sir. Entering code now. Negative, sir. The code's no good. I just lost another man.
Why do you insist on making things difficult? Maybe I should start shooting. How much blood you think you can afford to lose before you tell me what I want to know?
Colonel, I have need of you.
Mr. President, I have no time for other matters. I'll be with you shortly.
Now, Colonel.
Yes, sir.
Ah, alone at last. I do apologize for Colonel Autumn's attitude. He's been under a great deal of stress lately. I've no doubt that you know who I am. I'm sure you've heard my radio broadcasts. I'd like to have a word with you face to face. I think there are a few things that you and I should discuss. You'll find your possessions in the locker near the door. I'll unlock the way for you. And I'll unlock your restraints as well. I'll be waiting for you in my office. Please don't tarry.
And there we go, I'm free, I'm alive, and I get all my stuff back because, okay, I do always enjoy this moment, and, oh, we're gonna hit, no, we're just shy of level 30, dear flipping dear. I do enjoy this moment, by the way, which is, in every Bethesda game, there's always a moment where all your stuff is taken away from you, and then you get it back out of a given container, which I always find hilarious. Because how in the name of flip is all of this supposed to be fitting inside one cocking locker? Right, step 1, time to go say hello to the locals, because yes, if you nip outside and then take a left, we'll be running into...
Hold it right there. You're supposed to be in that holding cell. You're not going anywhere. There's a full complement of guards in the next room. As soon as I get them, you're going back to your cell. In a body bag if necessary.
So yes indeed, unfortunately not everybody got the memo about me being allowed outside. As you could very clearly see, and as we figured out long ago, yes, there are two factions operating inside the Enclave, and sometimes as a result, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. The President may have set me free, but Autumn's troops don't know that's what's going on. So, with sufficient strength or charisma, we can just intimidate or charm this man, but yes, we've got a pretty good speech check here as well.
On whose authority? I have no records of that. You're supposed to be in a holding cell.
And yes, indeed, the President himself wants to speak to me.
What? No one sees the President except Colonel Autumn. Stand right there while I check this out. Mr. President, I'm sorry to bother you. This is Lieutenant Williams. I have an unauthorized individual here who's supposed to speak with you.
I'm surprised to hear from you, Lieutenant. I don't recall authorizing you to contact me directly.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry about that. It just seemed out of the ordinary. I apologize.
Apology noted, Lieutenant. Yes, I instructed our friend to come up to the control room. No questions, no interference. Am I understood?
I understand, sir. Again, I apologize for the interruption.
Allow our friend to pass and report to your superior for reassignment, Lieutenant, at once.
Yes, sir. Hello.
And there we flipping go, he's now nice and chill. I like doing the speech shape, by the way, as that's the only one that makes him speak to the President, and as a result, we know that this guy's got a name, which is lovely.
I guess you'd better be on your way. Sorry for the interruption.
That's quite alright, no harm done. And in just a moment, just to make sure this doesn't happen again down the line, if I just, mosey on round the corner.
Attention to all Raven Rock personnel. This is your President speaking. I've invited our guest from Vault 101 to my office. Please do not impede her progress. Thank you for your cooperation.
And there we go, now that's been said out loud, everybody's nice and chill, and contrary to what I myself thought in the past, I am not now on a timer until Autumn gives the contrary order. No, the trigger for Autumn coming on the speaker and saying, no, scratch that, shoot the kid from Vault 101, is in fact when you get to a certain bit of the level. So as long as I just stay in this early section, everybody's now nice and chill with me for the foreseeable future. Which is good, because it gives me time to say hello to the locals. So, cell 3 right over here. And inside, we've got a familiar face.
They're not who they say they are. Get out while you can, before they get you too.
And there we go, it's Nathan from Megaton. Though, no one ever explains precisely like how he was captured or why he's here. Like, if you speak to this guy in Megaton, he loves the idea of the Enclave. So, I guess we assume he approached their patrols trying to swear loyalty to them or something, but in which case, why would they bring him all the way back to Raven Rock and lock him in a cell? Honestly, I have no idea why Nathan's here. every other cell meanwhile is empty, and all the guards are now super chill because they're under orders to not attack me. Lovely.
If you're supposed to be meeting the president, then go do it. Get away from me.
Not that they're polite about it or anything, but yes, they won't shoot me at the absolute bare minimum. So I guess, you know, we can be grateful for small mercies. And yes, well, we've got a nice quiet moment here, no one shooting me, etc, etc. Okay, so, Raven Rock. I have in the past said many kind things about Fallout 3. I love Fallout 3. It's a great game with lots of really good set pieces. But this is not one of them. Raven Rock I can't help but be massively disappointed by, simply because the Enclave is the main enemy of this game, and its main plot DLC expansion in Broken Steel 2. This is the big bad of this game, and you are standing right in the middle of their base in this area. And there's just nothing here. You don't learn anything. There's barely anyone to speak to. In fact, there's literally only one terminal in this entire dungeon, and there's barely anything on that either. If you compare it to, say, the oil rig in Fallout 2, where there are so many people to speak to, and you can speak to them all at length about all sorts of different topics and learn so much about the Enclave. Next to that, Raven Rock is just a big disappointment. There's just nothing here. It's a very small area. You pass through it pretty fast, and when you leave, you basically know nothing more about the Enclave than when you arrived. It's not all bad, mind. There are a couple of really small environmental storytelling details I do rather like in this area, such as, yes, the biolabs are just full of various biological samples they've taken from the Wasteland. Animals, ghouls, super mutants, all sorts, and obviously yes, though no one says it out loud in this area, if you've been paying attention, you're fully aware the Enclave are interested in splicing various bits and pieces together. So yes, this is presumably where some of the work into domesticating the Deathclaw was done. And then there's just some really dumb stuff, like yes, this trooper just walking backwards and forwards, being slightly suspicious that something's wrong, because the Enclave in fact has a small radroach infestation, and though they do have, you know, very clever traps set up with flamethrowers and whatnot, yes, the radroaches just fit straight under them, so therefore have eluded the traps, constantly making the guy above them suspicious that something's going on, but he never quite figures out what it is. So okay, I'm gonna do them a favour and take out their infestation problem for them, which is very kind of me, quite frankly, and also, yes, if you want to, sufficient repair or science, you can just get the tripwire emitters down, rendering this lovely flamethrower right here completely harmless, though in a way I actually rather prefer leaving it on, because, yes, if you do, hang on, this guy is, yes, right above me, so just deliberately set that off, that knocks me over. Now you may notice, however, he's also been knocked over. However, it was not me that knocked him over. Instead, just set that off too. There we go. He's on fire again. And we can just do this over and over again. But bear in mind, it's not me doing this. It's the flamethrowers that just haven't been set up quite right. This isn't a storytelling thing, by the way. This is just a bug. Alright, it's just a Bethesda physics thing that's not been set up correctly. But you can just set this guy on fire over and over again, forever, until eventually he dies and you can help yourself to his stuff. And because these flamethrowers come with a magic knockdown ability, he basically can't really get away, which is hilarious. In fact, if you get into the right rhythm, you can just dip in, set the flamethrower going, while he's still on the ground from the last guaranteed knockdown. Because yes, this is guaranteed knockdown fire, which doesn't generally show up in the game, but you know, it does show up here for some reason. And one more super cute one too, which is, yes, if you go into the mess hall, though I suspect this is going to bring me into an area where Colonel Autumn's going to start getting a bit annoyed at me. So just mosey on up in this direction and...
Attention! This is Colonel Autumn. You are hereby ordered to ignore the President's previous directive. The prisoner from Vault 101 is to be shot on sight. I repeat, shot on sight. This is an order.
So there we go. The lovely peace treaty between me and the Enclave has now been counteracted. But, as I say, this here is the mess hall, where everyone sits down to eat. And what are they eating on? It's a grill. So what do you find underneath it? A giant pile of cutlery. Because if anyone ever drops anything, it goes straight under here and no one bothers to go and get it, which is Oh, it's just such a tiny, cute, hilarious touch. Like, Bethesda are so good at the tiny details like that. Though, yeah, obviously it's not enough to overlook the fact that this area just lacks the big stuff. Like, you know, for example, this civil war that's clearly going on between Eden and Autumn. That feels like it should be significantly more fleshed out. Maybe you could take one side or the other, or play both of them off against each other. But no, sadly, we're just doing a bit of a flying visit through this area. Plus, that's really not the door I want to go through anyway. Just go to, yeah, the biolab in the first area, head up the stairs and take a left. Now, as soon as I go through into this room, Autumn's going to start speaking, but that's fine, because I'll be gone out of this area before he finishes, meaning I don't need to take on anyone. Whereas, yeah, in the mess hall, you've kind of got to go up the stairs, so you probably have to fight a couple of people before you get out of here, so mosey on in this direction. There we go. He's just having a nice chat. Make sure we steal all their medicine on the way past if we can. That's fine. And straight on into level 2. So an entire floor you don't need to bother fighting. Lovely. Though, yes, they're now going to be a lot more angry at me. So, okay, crack out Lincoln's repeater. After all, we're going to meet the president, so we're going to use a presidential gun. And at this point, yes, make sure we've got a good line at these guys. If we can just take them out quick pop in the head, that would be marvellous. So this shot should be... Oh, yeah. That'll flip it do the job right there. Let's just take out the soldiers if we can, before they see me even better. Okay, you're a melee, so honestly not too much of a problem. Yeah, unfortunately we really need the crits to get the kills here. And that was a crit. We're still in caution. Lovely. Just a mosey on. There we go. Right. I think they figured out I'm here. But I've done some good damage to them in the meantime. You are temporarily, and now you're out of the way, aren't you? Yes, you've moved behind something dear flipping dear. Okay. Bare minimum, yeah, going in this side, it means you start off with the high ground, which is, you know, a pretty good thing to have. Plus, do not forget my dear old friend the Shocker does, of course, do bonus damage versus power armor. So, you know what? Let's just crack that out and let him come to me. And I kind of assumed there was glass in this window. Turns out there's not. It's just a mosey on around the corner. Don't mind me, buddy. Don't mind me. Don't mind. Continue not minding me. Here we go. Lovely. So, straight in and give him a few punches. Obviously, bonus damage in VATS for melee attacks. Oh, yeah. That'll do the flippin' job right there. Beautiful. Though, yes, I do just find it so odd. We're standing in the middle of the Enclave headquarters, in the middle of their research labs, and there's no research terminals. You can't learn anything about their research. You can piece it together using, you know, various incidental details you find around the Wasteland, but, yeah, there's just no research terminals. Bloody weird. It just kind of feels like this area might have been a bit rushed towards the end of development, because it is just downright bizarre that there are no research terminals inside the Enclave research base. Oh, and I think we've just snuck up on an Enclave trooper. So, okay, melee in the back, and gonna be honest, I was hoping for more damage. We should get a good, like, 4 hits in. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Just continue walking around the outside of them. Take out the soldiers. Don't worry too much about the scientists. Generally, they'll just be, yeah, making a run for it as soon as they realise anything's gone too badly wrong. So, okay, just make sure we take out all of them. And in just a second as well, yep, there we go. There's one scientist on the move. Okay, do we have any more? Yes, soldiers, because we need to take them out first before you get a rather unexpected reunion with an old, not really friend, but, you know, someone who you might be conceptually aware of. Oh, and taking out one of them just pushed me right over into, level 30. Which is not actually an important level in the slightest, but, you know, it's a nice round number, so I find it pleasing. So, you know what? I am using the Shocker a fair bit. You can have a bit of unarmed, that's fine. Then just keep on nudging, yeah, medicine to a nice round number. Speech can be a round number too, lovely, and, okay, there's gotta be something good floating around towards the top of the table. Actually, you know what? Not so much, but I will never say no to another 15 AP. Lovely. Still, past the labs, into the quarters as we just keep on moseying on our way, and here we go. Lovely laser grid. So, okay, we want to get that down. Just a quick bit of hacking should sort that out. Just a fun thing you may have never noticed before, by the way, which is, yes, in Fallout 3, as your science gets higher and higher above the minimum threshold needed to attempt a hacking minigame, the minigame does keep getting easier anyway. So, you may notice, yes, this here is an average science check, so you need 50 just to attempt the game. But if you just, count up the number of options here, there's only 5, meaning even if I just guess completely at randomly, I've got a 4 out of 5 chance of getting this right. If I bother to, locate the various bits and pieces, there we go. With a single dodge removed, I now can't fail. It's actually impossible to fail, because there are as many options as there are chances. So, yeah, the higher your science goes above the minimum threshold, the easier the game gets. So, security barrier down, lovely. Help myself to some weapon repair kits that definitely aren't there in the original, because they literally can't be, that's New Vegas only. And you know what, help myself to... Right, well that one was empty, that was a bit underwhelming, but I won't say no to, some plasma grenades, they're always fun. What's more fun, however, is, on the other side, super easy to just run straight past this. Yes, you may notice, one green tick on the compass. Everyone in the space is now gunning for me, or running away screaming in the case of the scientist, but... there is one exception, because you may recall, way back when we were doing the Waters of Life, I mentioned there's a missing person when you're doing the evacuation. One of Dr. Lee's science team, Anna Holt. She simply doesn't show up anywhere. She simply disappears. Until we get here. Because as it turns out, she's right here in Raven Rock.
You? What are you doing here?
And honestly, I could ask you the same question, Anna.
They captured me. Brought me here from Project Purity. I didn't want to help them at first, but the technology they have here, it's so far advanced from anything I've worked with.
So yes, indeed. Anna Holt was originally brought here as a prisoner, presumably down in the cells, same as me, but she decided to join up and work with them. And yes, if you ask her specifically what she told them...
They wanted information. About Dr. Lee, about Project Purity. They want to know how it started up, and why it wouldn't work. I told them everything I could. About the Gek, about the damage caused by the explosions, all of it.
So there we go. That there is the answer as to how the Enclave got Project Purity working, when the last time we saw it, it wasn't. They captured one of the scientists who chose to cooperate with them. So, yes indeed, Anna. Any chance you could point me at an exit?
I'm afraid I'm not able to help you with that. You should go. I don't want anyone seeing me talking to you.
And there we go. At that point, Anna just breaks off the conversation because, as it turns out, she's actually pretty bloody happy here. She doesn't want to escape, she doesn't really want to help you, doesn't really want to be seen talking to you, in fact, because that might be bad for her career. She is just a fully signed-up member of the Enclave now.
I've worked hard to fit in here. I've done everything they've asked of me. I'm not about to leave now, when I finally have access to their labs.
So yes indeed, as far as Anna's concerned, she's got nothing to be ashamed about. She doesn't really seem to have a problem about, working for a different person who's not Dr. Lee. She's just decided to change employer.
Look, it's not personal. Really, it's not. But Dr. Lee, she's scraping by. She's scavenging for parts in the wastes. The Enclave has everything it needs. They're light years ahead of anything Dr. Lee could accomplish. Working here is my best chance to help make the world a better place.
And fascinatingly, yes indeed, the game kinda takes Anna's side, because if you try and, call her out for her treachery or whatnot...
I'm sorry you see it that way. What are you going to do? Kill me over it? You should go. It sounds like you're in enough trouble as it is, and honestly, I don't want anyone to see me talking to you.
Yes indeed, Anna is not too impressed by that suggestion, and on top of that, if you were to kill her right now, then the game actually gives you negative karma. It does not consider it like, justified revenge or anything of that nature. Though, admittedly, this could just be wonky Fallout 3 tagging, as much as Bethesda taking a philosophical position. It's kinda hard to tell. In either case, gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, Anna, and let you live. And with that, you can see from the map, we're basically already done with this area. Raven Rock is, yes, very much on the small side, though, as we just mosey on forward. Let's make sure you keep your head down. There might be a little bit more trouble yet. Yes, don't just go directly to the war room. Instead, divert over to the left, because this here is Colonel Autumn's bedroom. Meaning we're going to be wanting, one, the energy weapon bobblehead. Beautiful. So... Okay, that's a big step up from the base game, given, yes, in this mod, bobbleheads don't hand out skill points. Ignore 5DT with every energy weapon. That is kind of huge, actually. And we're just going to be wanting to, yes, just check the foot locker at the base of his bed, because 1, apparently Colonel Autumn has a bit of a drug problem, potentially, and 2, he's got the Zack's destruct sequence. So, yes, if you're coming here at a very low level, and you can't pass any of the skill checks that are going to be coming up in a second, this is basically your workaround. Though, admittedly, yes, the footlocker is average locked, though that is much easier than any other way to potentially destroy the Zacks down the line. Okay, that in hand, probably best we mosey on up to the war room at this point, because yes, we've now got everything we could ever need. Lovely. And in here we've got a nice surprise waiting for us, which is, just a second, yes indeed, the President's got some robotic friends. And those friends are going to back me up. Though curiously, during this section, yes, these soldiers have decided they're going to be neutral to me. So let's just join in, finish them off. There we go. Hopefully they've got the memo at this point. Beautiful. Though, to be honest, actually, yes, I really should go into energy weapons, given that minus 5 DT, that is huge. So, that done, on to the control room, and up we go to say hi to the President. So, okay, guns away, we won't be needing those, obviously. Just, mosey on up to the top of this lovely tower. And you'll realise very soon there's nobody up here and no way to leave, meaning we've only got, yes indeed, a lovely computer system right here, though. I do enjoy the flowers. I like to think that, you know, he insisted upon the flowers, so... Okay, President Eden, let's have a lovely chat.
Ah, face to face at last. It's high time we met. I'm quite pleased you were able to make it. The trip was not what I had intended, but serves as an adequate test of your abilities.
So yes, indeed, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. President.
Our nation's capital is at a crossroads. The path that you and I choose here today will affect us all. I need you to act on my behalf to ensure that our country's future is secured.
Though yes indeed, Mr. President, I can't help but notice that, your country appears to have been somewhat nuked, down to like, you know, cinders and whatnot.
That's a bit of a bleak outlook, don't you think? The United States has fallen on hard times, yes, but it can be healed. You have that power to heal within you, if you allow yourself to act. What I ask of you needs explanation, so you understand why it must be done. Perhaps that will stir you to act.
And yes indeed, Mr. President, do explain.
The good people of this country cannot regain control while mutation runs rampant through our land. My soldiers cannot stem the tide, nor can the cult you've come into contact with, this Brotherhood of Steel. Mutations like the super mutants and ghouls must be purged from our society, our world, before we can proceed anew. Where others have failed, I believe your father's work can succeed.
So okay, so far so reasonable. Super mutants, definitely a problem. Getting rid of them, probably a good foundation for rebuilding society. Okay, perfectly reasonable to date.
If the water purifier can be activated, it can be used to distribute toxins that will eliminate any mutated creatures upon ingestion. The longer it runs, the cleaner the world becomes. I need you to see that it starts running, and that the necessary modification is made.
And unfortunately, my character's a couple of eggs short of a carton, because, yes indeed. I feel like the first question you should definitely ask should be, okay, hang on, when you say mutated, like, how mutated are we talking? Because there's a city full of ghouls. I visited it. They're lovely. Like, do we need to eliminate them, for example?
In front of you will be a vial of modified FEV virus. It can be inserted into the control console for the purifier. Doing so will inject it into the water supply, and the purifier will take care of the rest. You just need the code to activate the purifier. Simple, isn't it?
Yes, quite disappointingly simple actually, because yes indeed, just like with President Richardson in Fallout 2, it would be lovely to speak at length to President Eaton about him and Autumn and the Enclave and how they came to this view, the casualties that might be incurred, etc, etc, but President Eaton really is not interested in having a long discussion about this, so okay, no commitments one way or the other, I'll give it a bit of thought, Mr. President.
I understand. It's an unusual request, one I wouldn't make if it weren't of the utmost importance. Please understand that I cannot allow you to leave until you've taken the vial.
And now we get into the more open side of the conversation, so yes indeed, basically yes, now what we could do is effectively defeat President Eaton by making him self-destruct. Either by talking him into it, though that is a very, very hard check indeed, sufficient intelligence or science you could basically outwit him, or alternatively of course, we've got ourselves the Zax's override code, so we can literally just enter that and the job is done. But before we get to that, yes, let's get the limited information we can get, which is Colonel Autumn and you. Though, as we discussed previously, if you pay attention to the wider Wasteland, you can figure out there's a rift in the Enclave before you get here.
Ah, yes, Colonel Autumn, my trusted subordinate. I'm sure you've noticed that Colonel Autumn and I do not see eye to eye these days. Figuratively speaking, of course. The good Colonel and I disagree on how best to approach the problem of the Wasteland. He feels my methods are too extreme. And so, I turn to you. I hope that you are able to see the larger picture, to understand what's at stake. And of course, if you're successful, there's a place for you in the Enclave. Perhaps you could succeed the Colonel as my confidant.
That offer unfortunately goes nowhere due to, yes, the slightly curious way that Fallout 3's post-endgame evolved over time, given when Fallout 3 originally came out, remember, you were kind of supposed to die at the end of the game. Like, the canonical ending was, you go in, you give your life to turn on the purifier, you die. The game starts with you being born and ends with you dying. And even if you were to force Sarah Lyons to go in and do it instead, the game still ended because there was no post-endgame. Meaning, even if you, did precisely what the President asked you to do, there was no chance to go back and take up your position as Colonel of the Enclave. But, yes, then Broken Steel came along and added in post-endgame. So, yes, you can actually now go up to President Eaton, basically nod along with everything he says, take the FEV, plug it in, survive turning on the purifier, and even then it sadly doesn't go anywhere. Trying to come back to Eden later, you just can't do it, so yes, it's a bit odd that he says that, but I guess it was written under the assumption there was going to be no post-endgame, then they DLC'd one in. Cause yes, the development of Fallout 3 was a bit of a funny old thing. Still, before we go making our decision about what we're going to do, Mr. President, how about we ask, just a couple of really rather important follow-up questions?
Ah, the forced evolutionary virus. Such a long and sordid history. The FEV in this vial is a far cry from what it was originally created to be. Yet, little of that matters now. What does matter is that the virus contained in that vial will cause the eradication of all mutations.
No, that is an incredibly vague answer and I want to get a real one out of you. Doesn't that mean potentially like, everyone, given everyone's been a bit mutated by radiation?
Anyone or anything that has been affected by mutation will be eliminated. You will likely be immune thanks to your upbringing in the vault. Likewise, the good people of the Enclave will be unaffected as well. I understand that you may have become sympathetic to certain individuals in your travels. Individuals this will eliminate. Please recognize that the fate of our entire country rests on this plan. Sacrifices must be made for the greater good.
Okay, but seriously, explain to me how killing everybody is going to help. Because you do not have that many people in the Enclave, okay? The events of Fallout 2 have already happened. The Enclave has been significantly reduced from what it once was. The survivors have come over here, and I've killed plenty of them too. You do not have that many people. Repopulating using just the Enclave is going to be catastrophically slow, possibly genetically impossible. Like, you know, it's brought up in the vault, there is a problem with genetic diversity. But yes, unfortunately that's pretty much it. Despite being arguably one of the most important conversations in the entire game, it's extremely short, it gives you very vague answers, and you can't really ask any follow-up questions. So, once again, Raven Rock, it's hard not to be disappointed with this section. But yes indeed, getting back to how we destroy President Eden given he's planning to genocide literally everything. As I was saying earlier, we can use speech, or we can use science, or we can just basically hit Ctrl-Alt-Delete and knacker him. But, no. I've got a better plan, which is, I'm going to do something that I bet a fair few of you have never done, which is, I'm going to, I suppose, technically, fail this conversation. Because I'm not going to destroy President Eden at all. I'm just going to say, right, lovely talking to you, I'll be on my way, good day to you, Mr. President. Because, like he was just saying, if we take the vial, he unlocks the door, so as a result of that, I've got modified FEV, and, okay. I want to focus on something very important indeed right now, which is, I just didn't cause the computer to self-destruct, okay? I have not activated the self-destruct mechanism. I have gone up to the computer, said hi to it, taken its thing, and I'm now planning to leave. No one, anywhere, not Autumn, not me, not President Eden, have activated the self-destruct. However, if you just start moseying out the only way you can get to the exit through Area 1B, then in just a second, yes indeed, you can hear some shooting in the distance. That's all absolutely fine, no problem there whatsoever. Help out Eden's automated security. We're taking out the Enclave, given, you know what, me and him, we're on the same side. I took the FEV, etc, etc. Lovely. Down you go, buddy. Reload everything, just keep on keeping on. Oh, this is embarrassing. I've been outwitted by the mod, so... Okay, I was about to point out something hilarious, but the mod's gone and beaten me to it by fixing it, which is, even if you do not blow up Raven Rock, i.e., you know, you don't activate the self-destruct, when you're leaving, in the base game of Fallout 3, the base sort of acts like it's being destroyed anyway. Doors explode, flames everywhere, people being tossed down corridors by the explosions, etc, etc, but, instead, yes, the doors are just locked very hard, but they no longer operate, so you can't get by anyway, even with 100 lockpicks. So, okay, well, I've just been outwitted. Still, on our way past, we may notice that, yes, a large number of vertibirds are in the process of taking off. Lovely. Keep on keeping on. Don't mind me, guys. Don't mind me, because, oh yeah, this is what we want right here. One Deathclaw cage. Marvellous. Together with one delivery terminal right here, too. This is, in fact, the only terminal with any notes on it in the whole of the space. It is ridiculous. And it's a really tiny note too, just basically saying, hey, here's a Deathclaw, you should probably take it to the people who study the Deathclaws, though, bare minimum, at least we now know that, presumably, that unit we saw outside the Deathclaw caverns, their official title is Fauna Detail Charlie. So just crack open the cage, because, yeah, somehow, this Deathclaw just kind of figures out I'm the one that let it out, and as a result, is lovely and friendly. So there we go, that opens up. This guy gets a lovely tiny unique animation just looking outside of his cage, and yes indeed, he decides he's going to be chill. Despite the fact he's not actually wearing, you know, the Deathclaw control helmet McGibble, but instead, in the event that any Enclave are still alive, he'll now go and get them. So yes, we've now got robots, we've got Deathclaws, we've got the Enclave, though on this occasion, yes, I think these guys took out the enemy before I could even get to them. Right, keep on moseying out, don't mind me, guys, I'll help you out, because, oh yeah, seriously, Hellfire Troopers are not nothing. That guy was supposed to, like, you know, be exploded by this door going kaboom, but on this occasion, that didn't happen, so, oh yeah, the turrets are doing an excellently good job right here. I will help out as well as I can, marvellous, and okay. Now they're shooting at me. Like, guys, please focus on, yes, the weaker individuals. So that gets me my AP back. Focus on this guy too. Yeah, Hellfire Troopers are a big step up from anything else. So these guys I can take out without too much difficulty. Hellfire Troops, Oh yeah, they're a whole different ball game. So I'm just gonna fall back, basically let the turrets do some of the work there. And are you guys out of range? Okay, I'm going to move back a bit, see if I can bait him forward into turret range, ideally. There we go, now he's in range. So, okay, please stop backing off. Stay in range, you stupid bastard, alright? Mark 8 turrets are no cocky joke. But you know what? He is a long way away, and I do literally have a sniper rifle. Probably best I do that, not least as I can potentially... You have been lucky, by the way. This is the victory rifle. You should have been knocked down by now. There we go. Finally got a knockdown at the end there, but at this point he's got to be... Look at that. All that fire. Hellfire troopers are no cocky joke. Seriously, stay the cock down. Now he's got no gun. Okay, that's much better. Now he's just going to get shot while he runs around like an idiot. Beautiful. Right, couple of AP rounds in the back of the head should sort you out very nicely, buddy. Just a quick reload and see if we can get you. Lovely, well done. And on the way out, we got a few more people here. Just mosey on, blimey. Just mosey on around to the left just to get these sentry bots to spawn. If you guys could, like, you know, not miss on me, I'd kind of appreciate it, actually. Lovely. And as tempting as it would be, particularly if the base were exploding, to run down this hallway as the flames just blast out of all the doors, etc, etc, though, as I say, the mods fixed that, so well done I suppose, I say rather reluctantly. Yes, do not forget this final cache of weapons right here. Because if we just turn off the barrier here, these ones are kind of cool. So okay, plenty of plasma grenades, not bad, plasma mines are always nice too. But the big case at the back, that's a guaranteed Gatling laser, which, okay, I can't afford to bring with me, but it's still a really nice weapon to get given on your way out. And speaking of Gatling lasers, as we just mosey on out the front door, lovely. Just a flipping second. One. Okay, now this is actually correct in the base game, which is if you've blown up the base, in just a second, some of these helicopters that are about to leave, they would just explode as they tried to leave the base. But, yes, on this occasion, because I've not blown up the base, that's not going to happen. The subsequent two helicopters, though, okay, this one I might be able to blow up a little bit. Just put a bit of fire after you. Pretty sure Fawkes did some damage there. These two, or possibly three, yes, they would explode, leaving the exploding base, but they've decided not to do that because the base isn't exploding. So, yes, in the base game, the base does remember whether or not it's supposed to be exploding in the event that, you know, you step outside, but inside gets a bit confused. The mod has fixed that, which is lovely. And, yes, as I was saying, Gatling lasers. Someone out here has already got one, and that person is Fawkes, who we've run into already. Marvellous. So, just help him out, finishing off the last of the losers at the front door. And, I think we're in pretty good shape, actually. Beautiful. Well done, Fawkes.
My friend! I see I found you at last! I knew you had survived, and I had hoped to assist in your rescue, to repay my debt to you.
Okay, Fawkes, we last saw each other, like, 15 minutes ago, give or take, so... Yeah, I kind of feel like Fawkes' script there kind of betrays that at some point there definitely had to be a plan to make the gap between being captured by the Enclave and escaping from them a bit longer than, you know, a very short dungeon and a brief discussion with Eden. Because Fawkes does act like it's been a while. Also, buddy, are you enjoying your new laser by any chance?
Imagine the evil that can be eliminated with such tools!
I love Fawkes. Fawkes is great.
I saw your capture, and a little cleverness allowed me to follow your captors. I only wish I could have arrived sooner to aid your escape. As I owe you my freedom, I felt it was only fair that I return the favor. After all, I know no one else in this world.
Seriously, I love Fawkes so much, and yes indeed, I do actually happen to be morally good right now, though I don't even need to be because of the charisma bobblehead, so Fawkes, old buddy, how about you join me on our adventures for a bit?
My friend, I would be honored to follow a hero such as yourself. Shall we go?
And oh my goodness, he's given me the overcompensation perk, so if he's in the party, big gun strength requirements go down by 2, and they do 10% more damage. Okay, that's actually pretty good. But what I want to do next, however, is probably not what you're expecting, because at this point the game kind of rushes you straight into the end game. But some other interesting stuff just opened up as well. Step 1, I want to nip back to Megaton because, you may recall, we just saw Nathan, a Megaton resident, in Enclave jail, and Nathan has got a wife. Manya, who lives in this town, she's married to Nathan, so we should probably, like, you know, just check in on her how she's doing.
You seen Nathan anywhere around here?
And there we go. Rather cute little touch. Manya does notice that Nathan's gone missing, though admittedly she doesn't sound too concerned about it, so maybe, you know, sometimes he just goes for a long walk in the Wasteland and she's expecting him to come back, but it is a super cute touch that after Nathan gets arrested, Manya does seem to notice, though unfortunately you have no way of telling her, hey, he's kind of been arrested by the Enclave and held in their base, which, you know, the vast majority of players will then explode with Nathan inside of it, i.e. you kinda know the lad's dead, though in this universe he's not, another good reason to not blow up Raven Rock. Nathan is still alive, though admittedly, Autumn was, like, you know, evacuating Raven Rock. I'm going to assume that Eden's robots are going to take good care of Nathan. As for Anna, though, literally no one responds to her being alive at all. You cannot speak to Dr. Lee about it. Apparently, nobody bloody cares. And in addition, I do want to very quickly visit Lamplight. I do enjoy, by the way, how basically nobody makes any comments about, you know, Fawkes, the giant super mutant who just follows me around with a giant gun on his back. Despite the fact, you know, this society is sufficiently scared of super mutants, it sets up and mans an armed barricade against them that they name Murder Pass. But, yes, apparently, well, you know what? The kids have got Fawkes' number on this occasion because he can't get past the barricade. Okay, hang on. Fawkes, Fawkes? There we go, he managed it. Well done, Fawkes. Now, you may recall when we were doing a dedicated episode about Lamplight, I met up with someone called Knock Knock, the local morale officer who tells stories to the local kids, and she asked me to tell her a story. A story I told her at the time wasn't finished yet, but now I can actually go back and finish the story. And I know what you're thinking, John, your story isn't finished, the game's not over. Yes, but once again, do bear in mind, Fallout 3 in its original form was about to end. You were kind of supposed to die turning on the purifier, so as a result of that, this was really your last moment to go back and fill in Knock Knock on the final stage of your adventure. And they sadly did not update her in Broken Steel, so you could go back and give her a further update. Oh gosh darn it, I've been defeated by Fallout 3 again. Okay, you are 100% supposed to be able to go back to Knock Knock and update your story with the final stage, which is basically you just telling her about the mission, the American Dream, i.e. escaping from the Enclave, which as per usual you can tell in a heroic, neutral or evil style. But the game's decided to suddenly bug out on me, and instead I'm going to be a dick to this small child storyteller and refuse to tell her a story. But okay, you're supposed to be able to go and wrap up the story, but Fallout 3 being Fallout 3, occasionally it's going to break, I suppose. And one final personal favourite of mine, which is, yes, you may recall that the Enclave ambushed me in Vault 87 by virtue of coming in the front door, though, admittedly, yes, we don't entirely know how they did such a thing, but they did. They came in through the locked door and ambushed me that way. And that leads to something rather interesting if you bother to go and investigate the area again now. So here we go, back to the room I was just ambushed. Oh, folks, this is where we had our first date. This is lovely. So, in order that Autumn can make it into this room, the door has to be open. And it's still unlocked now. Meaning there is a brand new area of the vault you can get into only if you go through the vault, get captured, escape, and then come back here. And if you're wondering what wonderful secrets might be hidden inside this secret area, basically nothing actually. You weren't really supposed to come here, so it's basically just straight to the vault door. Much like any other vault door, you can crack it open, and in the base game of Fallout 3, there is actually a terrifying void out here, where if you just hop through it, you teleport back to Fawkes' cell. But once again, 10 out of 10 attention to detail mods, because they have added in a tiny cavern just to, you know, provide a bit of physical space linking the outside door to the vault door. So this presumably is how Autumn made it in. And oh my goodness, they even added in a master key on this corpse. Which is presumably, yes, the way you now open this door so you can literally go in and out of this door. So, I mean, that is just lovely attention to detail. Well done, Tale of Two Wastelands. So yes, at long bloody last, you can actually complete the loop and go in the front door of Vault 87 if that's what you want to do. Though, as I say, in the base game, this is just a terrifying, nightmarish empty void that teleports you back to Fawkes' cell. So okay, there's something you don't see in an average Fallout 3 playthrough. Not only have I made it to the front door of Vault 87, I've also made it through Vault 87 and walked out the front door into the rats. So, okay, some incredible attention to detail in this mod, I must say. And there is one rather fun consequence to leaving Eden alive that we haven't got to just yet, but yes, we might just be getting to in the very near future, but I would say that's enough for now. Autumn has evacuated Raven Rock, the President has given me the modified FEV, and the Brotherhood are ready to go to war. So I'd say next week, yeah, we all know what it's flipping time to do. That's right, I'm going back on vacation because there's a few bits and pieces I wouldn't mind checking out in Fallout New Vegas, and honestly, I just find it hilarious when, you know, things get a bit serious in one game to immediately walk away from it and go and hang out with the other instead. It just amuses me greatly. So, okay, next week, we're going back to the bright lights and big city of Fallout New Vegas because, yes indeed, as I say, there are a few bits and pieces I wouldn't mind investigating in that bit of the world. So join me next week for something really rather different. Hopefully you're looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nerd. And this has been Fallout, Tale of Two Wastelands. Thank you very much, and goodbye. If we just hide the bodies, nobody needs to know about this. Yes! My stupid plan has worked! It turns out I'm a genius! The giant rat scorpion is not gone! Oh, hang on, there's more yet, though. I'm still being very shocked. Guys, where's the NCR? Nobody needs to know.